Have you ever wondered if there's a higher meaning to everything that's happening in the world lately? The answer is absolutely. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to the Wholeness Shift. If you're new here, my name is Veronica and I teach people about practical spirituality and I help them to navigate their spiritual awakenings. If any of this interests you, hit the subscribe button below so that you don't miss anything good. We're going to be diving into some deeper stuff today, you guys. We're talking about one of the bigger topics in current spirituality that's going to challenge you to open your mind and to tap into that higher consciousness. Or maybe it will just reinforce what you already know. Maybe it's going to give you an aha moment because you knew something was going on or that you were being called to something. You knew it. You just didn't know how to articulate it. If you aren't ready to hear about it, that's okay. If you're new to spirituality and this whole spiritual awakening thing and you just aren't sure that you want to deep dive into some of this stuff yet, well, that's okay. That's your choice. But I'm a firm believer that you're only led to things that you're ready to hear. So if you're here today, you're ready to hear it. The challenge is to open your mind to the teaching. So there's a lot going on in our world right now. I'm sure we can all agree on that. It's a little surreal that this is actually the world we're living in right now. So let's talk about some of the higher meanings that we can find behind what's currently happening in our world. Nothing like this has ever happened in any of our lifetimes. And things changed so quickly that it left all of us just kind of reeling and saying, what is going on? For a long time now, those of us in the spiritual community have been told that 2020 is going to be a big year in terms of the ascension process that Earth and humanity are going through. If you aren't sure what I'm talking about because you're new to this, in a nutshell, Earth and humanity have been going through an ascension process. Earth always goes through this. Humanity always goes through this. If you look back through time, you can see phases where things have ascended and then they ascend again. There are always periods of time where new knowledge comes in, new information comes in, things ascend. Earth and humanity elevate to a new phase. They're no longer cavemen. Now there's something more civilized, right? There are always periods of time where new information comes in, knowledge increases, minds expand, old constructs are done away with, and a new age is ushered in. Are you with me? Well, for the last several years, or a little more, this has been happening again. Earth is moving from a 3D reality into a 5D reality. Now, if you remember, we've talked before about dimensions and how the closer you get to the divine, the higher of a dimension you are on, and that Earth is on 3D, which is almost as low as you can get, and it's a very dense, polarized reality. That's just the nature, always has been the nature of humanity, of an Earth existence. Things are very polarized. They're black and white. They're right and wrong. They're same and different. There's not a lot of tolerance. There's a lot of judgment, not a lot of love, compassion, empathy, inclusion. Now, when you're talking 5D, it's a little bit up there. You have a little bit more of all of those things: love, compassion, empathy, inclusion, tolerance, right? The higher you go, the closer you get to the divine, the more of those things you get. So as Earth is going through this ascension phase, as we ascend from 3D into the 5D area, we're going to be experiencing more of those qualities ourselves. There's been a shift occurring for several years now where people are being called out from a herd mentality into individual responsibility to the divine and to each other. No longer is it okay for people to treat other people badly just because the church said so. The church says gay people are bad, so it's okay for me to be homophobic. The church says that interracial marriage is bad, so it's okay for me to be a racist, because the church said. Things like that. Now people are being called out to be individually responsible for their actions and their behavior. In this day of technology and video phones and whatnot, if you do something bad, chances are your face is going to end up on Facebook or the news or something calling you out on your bad behavior. Or people are more likely to step forward with the whole Me Too movement and things like that and call you out on your bad behavior, and you will be individually responsible for the things you did to another human being. This was all setting the stage for higher, more loving, kinder behavior. This process has been in the works for a while now. Starseed souls began flooding into the earth whose purpose it was to help with this ascension process. I would say back in the 60s is when the first scouts began coming in who were testing the waters to see if humanity was ready for this thinking. The flower children and the love movement that happened in the 60s was part of all of this, and that's what kicked it all off. If you don't know what a starseed is, I'm not going to go into it too deeply because I'm going to make another video talking about this soon, because there's a lot of information that goes with it. But in a nutshell, a starseed is a soul who has come in with a naturally higher vibration and less polarized thinking than a typical human incarnation would have. And they came in with this higher vibration and with this higher thinking in order to assist Earth with this ascension process, to help raise the collective consciousness, the vibration of the collective consciousness of humanity, and to help add a higher vibration to what's going on here on Earth. The first wave of starseeds to come in like the 60s and 70s, maybe even trickling into the 80s, were the indigo children. I am an indigo child. Maybe you are too. They weren't just here to help raise vibrations, they were here to help kick a little booty. They came in to help see what's wrong with society and with culture at that time, and to help break those things down. They were here to help break down what needed broken down in order to rebuild what would need built. They called attention to the things that have always been done that shouldn't be done, such as homophobia, misogyny, domestic violence, pedophilia, sexual assault, etc. They are compassionate and usually empathic, but they can be highly opinionated and very vocal about those opinions. Indigo children are the warriors of the starseeds. Basically, they can see the way the world should be versus the way the world is, and everything that needs done in order to get from point A to point B. They're willing to make waves in order to make this a better place, even if that means being vocal or a little aggressive about it. I would say that this played out mostly from the 60s through the 90s, but it can still happen now if there's a need. Many of the previous generations, like the baby boomers and before, they always had a lot of problems with the attitudes of the indigo children, and just how they were always rocking the boat and not towing the line, and they're always making waves. Why can't you just get along? That's family business. Keep things hush-hush. But this, mostly Generation X, I would say, these indigo kids that came in, and they're just like, no, this is not okay. The way things have always been done is not okay, and we're here to change this. Towing the line was not part of their life plan. Their life plan was to come in and create just enough chaos and rebellion in order to shed light on all of the problems of the existing world so that we could usher in a more loving, peaceful, evolved world. The next wave started coming in the late 80s and 90s and went until just a few years ago, and those were the crystal children. They came in with a slightly more elevated thinking, a higher vibration, inclusion, acceptance. That was just all natural to them. They didn't have to be taught. They didn't have to be taught that homophobia was wrong and that we should love and accept everyone as they are. They just came in knowing these things. If you look at the other generations that have come in after us, the millennials and the Gen Zs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then the third wave just started in the last few years, and those are the rainbow children. And they're going to have an even higher, more inclusive outlook. In order for ascension to occur, old timelines and constructs have to collapse and fall away. People need to wake up and open their minds and raise their vibrations. Starseeds are the healers and the light workers of the world. We are here to help show the way through this ascension process. Some came into this lifetime wide awake with psychic abilities and just a knowing of higher thinking and of all that is. And some have woken up slowly along the path, and some are still just now getting ready to wake up. 2012 was a huge year for spiritual awakening among the starseeds, and they've been trickling in ever since. Starseeds have always been called. Their whole life they felt this calling. They knew there was work to do and something to prepare for, but they perhaps didn't know what. Even if they didn't know what, where, why, or how, they knew that there was something going on. When they hear this information, it makes a lot more sense to them, and they're like, yes, okay, I get it now. Yes. Well, this is what we've been studying for. This is no longer a dress rehearsal. It's happening. The current happenings of the world are kickstarting this process, so let's talk a little bit about it. This is when old timelines and constructs are falling away. This is when new things, new timelines, new ways of life are being established right now. There's going to be a before and an after to the situation that we're in right now. The ways that we've always done things are gone. There may be some things that survive, but this whole quarantine, lockdown, pandemic situation, I don't want to talk too much about it, but this whole situation, things that were done before then will no longer be. We now have a new way of doing things, and we're going to talk more about other ways that we have been changing and healing through this current process. First of all, we've talked about law of attraction, and we've talked about how you have to resonate with an energy in order to be compatible with it. Correct? So Earth itself is ascending. Its frequencies are ascending. Its vibrations are going up. If you don't go with it, you can't be here. That's why I'm a firm believer that this current situation is one of the first mass exit points that was scheduled for many, many souls who don't plan to take the leap. They don't plan to raise their vibes or make that ascension with Earth and humanity. It was not in their contract. It was not in their life plan. And so I think this was set aside as one of the first mass exit points for people not planning to do that. Now, of course, those aren't the only people who are affected by this. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think that this was planned as one of the exit points related to ascension. Okay, but that aside, let's get back to the topic. People are going to start waking up in waves now, en masse. They're going to start really waking up. It's actually already been happening for a little while now, but it's really going to pick up speed. This all wouldn't be happening if humanity and the collective consciousness weren't ready for it. It's time, and we're ready for it, or it wouldn't be happening. So what does that have to do with right now? How are we seeing evidence of this? Well, part of the spiritual evolution is a need to slow down and go within, to start doing the work and raising those vibes. We've now been put in a situation where we have no choice. It's like this divine hush has come down upon humanity and upon the world, and we've all basically been grounded and sent to our rooms to think about things. We've been forced into social distancing. We've been forced into more quiet time, more time with ourselves, more time with our family, more time for reflection. With less distractions, we will naturally be drawn within. And then we're going to be drawn outward in the sense that we will be able to quietly observe from a distance the world and humanity as it is and wonder how it all connects to us, how we all fit into this big puzzle piece. And people, for the first time through this disease, through this virus, they're realizing that we truly are all connected. We are all one. What one person does affects everyone. What one person doesn't do affects everyone. What someone in China did or didn't do affected everyone in Italy, everyone in America, everyone in Canada, everyone in France. One person affects everyone because we are all connected. We are all one when it comes down to it. And people are getting that on a whole new level than they ever really got it before. The world is more still. Traffic is gone. Pollution is clearing. Nature is thriving. The air is clearer. And if you notice, all of these recent events have sparked this global compassion within humanity, where suddenly not only do we realize that we're all connected, but we all care about each other. People are checking on each other. Sorry, that just really got me. People are staying home in order to protect the greater good. People are staying home in order to serve the greater good. People are wearing a mask so that they not only do they not catch anything, but so that they don't give anything. People are checking on each other. People are giving greedy people a hard time because now elderly people can't get what they need or whatnot. And they're saying, stay out of the stores or stop hoarding. Think of the greater good. Think of others. This whole process has sparked this human compassion globally. And because of that, the entire collective consciousness has raised in vibration because love is spreading like wildfire. People are wanting to take care of and protect other people. People are praying and meditating. We're sending healing, love, and light thoughts to humanity and to Mother Earth. The next decade is going to be pivotal and will have great amounts of change in regards to Earth and humanity, more than ever before. But all in a good way, not in a bad way, all for the better. But the amount of change and healing and awakening and expansion will be profound. Healers, light workers, and starseeds, this is your time to shine, my friend. Your services are greatly needed during this time. This is what you're here for. I always say to go raise your vibes and keep your joy up. And that's even more important right now because no one is immune to coming into dark energy, dark times, tapping into that collective consciousness that has fear regarding this situation. If you saw my last video, then you know even I, who's known to be grace under pressure, was vulnerable to it. No one is immune. You may have been feeling it as well. But the good news is that if you become conscious of it and aware of it, you can protect yourself and you can remove yourself from that. You can help transmute that energy into something better. Fear is dense and it'll snatch you up quick. Ships don't sink because of the water around them. Ships sink because of the water that gets inside of them. So don't let the negativity that's happening in the world around you get in. Protect yourself with prayer and meditation and grounding yourself and setting the intention that you want to be protected from that energy. That's also where the forced solitude comes into play because you can be physically removed from all of that easily if you keep your butt at home where it's supposed to be. The thing is that holding a higher frequency takes practice. Be gentle on yourself and know that this is why we came here to this earth at this time. It's your job to anchor into those higher timelines and hold those higher, more elevated frequencies. Hold the space. That's the part you can play for humanity. Stay out of those lower vibrational energies and that fear consciousness. Stay out of it. Tap into those higher, more loving, optimistic, joyful, playful frequencies. Anchor in there and hold that space, because by you helping to keep the vibes higher, you are literally helping all of humanity who needs your help right now. Be available to teach, be available to answer questions of people who are newly awakening or who have questions, and take joy in what you're witnessing. This is so exciting. Since the creation of Earth, it's been heading towards this point in time. And you get to be here to witness it. That's pretty cool. And you get to witness it as well as all of everywhere, all of the universe. All eyes are on Earth right now. Believe me when I say that they are watching. Everybody's watching. The entire universe are all watching, because this is the big show. This is where Earth has been heading the whole time. This is the plan, and it's actually happening right now. Like I said earlier, this is no longer dress rehearsal. People, beings, energies everywhere are excited, and they are cheering us on with love, because we're doing it. It's time. The time has come for love and to move into a position of global unity. And this is a very exciting time to be alive. There's a global heart opening happening right now, and it's all for the greater good. It's like the heart chakra of Earth and humanity are opening right now. So do what you're supposed to do. Wash your hands often. Social distance. Stay inside unless it's essential for you to go out. But don't obsess or become fear-based. As my friend Jean says, no fear, only action. If you liked this video, give me a like down below. I would appreciate it. And if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything awesome that's coming. Raise your vibes, find some joy, and be safe. Know that you are loved, and continue to spread that love to everyone around you. I'll see you soon.